when I discovered my son had stolen $847,000 from me while I was grieving my wife's death, I knew exactly what I had to do. But in 72 hours, he would learn that betraying the man who taught him everything about business was the worst mistake of his life. Before we continue with how I made him pay for every stolen penny, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel for more stories of justice served cold. My name is Harold Peterson, and at 68 years old, I thought I understood the meaning of family. For 43 years, my wife Eleanor and I built everything together: our construction company, our home, our family. We started Peterson Construction with nothing but a borrowed truck and more determination than sense. By the time Eleanor passed away last March, we had grown it into a multi-million-dollar operation with contracts across 3 states. Eleanor fought pancreatic cancer for 18 months. Those final weeks, I barely left her side at the hospice. She worried about everything except herself, worried about me eating properly, worried about the business, worried about our son Michael. "Promise me you'll take care of yourself," she whispered that last morning, her hand so thin in mine. "And promise me you'll keep Michael close. He'll need you." I promised. God help me, I promised. Michael was our only child, born when we were struggling to make payroll and living in a 2-room apartment above the office. Eleanor used to joke that he learned to walk on construction sites and cut his teeth on blueprints. I'd brought him into the business straight from college, taught him everything: how to read plans, manage crews, negotiate contracts. By 35, he was vice president of operations, earning $200,000 a year plus bonuses. But apparently that wasn't enough. The morning I discovered the betrayal started like every morning since Eleanor's death. 5:47 a.m., coffee brewing in the kitchen she'd designed, rain pattering against the windows she'd loved. I sat at our old oak table, going through the mountain of paperwork that accumulates when you stop paying attention to anything but your dying wife. Estate documents, insurance forms, bank statements I'd ignored for months. That's when I saw it: a withdrawal from our joint savings account. $73,000, then another. $92,000, then $45,000. My coffee mug stopped halfway to my lips. I spread 6 months of statements across the table, withdrawal after withdrawal, all while I was at the hospice, all authorized by Michael Peterson, joint account holder, using his power of attorney. $847,000 total. The mug slipped from my hand, coffee spreading across Eleanor's favorite tablecloth. My hands shook as I logged into our other accounts. The retirement fund Eleanor and I had built over 40 years, touched. The emergency fund, drained. The account we'd earmarked for donating to the Cancer Research Center in Eleanor's name, empty. I called the bank. "These withdrawals from my account," I said, voice steady despite the rage building in my chest. "I need to know where the money went." "I can see they were wire transfers, Mr. Peterson," the representative said, "all authorized by Michael Peterson. Would you like me to trace the receiving accounts?" "Yes." 20 minutes later, I had my answer. The money had gone to 3 places: a luxury car dealership, a country club membership, and, most shocking of all, a down payment on a $2.8 million house in the hills. A house Michael and his wife Ashley had been posting about on social media while I sat beside my dying wife. I opened Facebook with trembling fingers. There they were. Photos dated 2 weeks before Eleanor died. Michael and Ashley, champagne glasses raised, standing in front of their new mansion. Dreams do come true. Ashley's caption read, "So blessed to start this new chapter. New house. Blessed, moving on up, while his mother lay dying." I scrolled through more posts. Ashley at the country club spa, Michael's new Porsche 911 Turbo, vacations to Cabo and Aspen, designer shopping sprees, all dated during Eleanor's final months, all funded by money stolen from grieving parents. The comment that broke me was under a photo of Ashley's new diamond tennis bracelet. "Michael is such an amazing provider. So lucky to have a husband who puts family first." Family first. I laughed, a bitter sound in the empty kitchen. Then I did what I'd always done when faced with a problem. I made a plan. First, coffee, fresh pot, strong and black. Eleanor used to say I did my best thinking over coffee, and I'd need clarity for what came next. I sat back down at the table, legal pad and pen ready, and began documenting everything. 9:17 a.m. Called Robert Steinberg, my attorney for 25 years. "Harold, I'm so sorry about Eleanor," he began. "Thank you, Robert. I need to see you today. It's about Michael." A pause. "I'll clear my schedule. Can you be here at noon?" Next, I called Sarah Chen, our company accountant. "Sarah, I need a complete audit of the business accounts, everything Michael had access to." "Is there a problem, Mr. Peterson?" "That's what I need you to find out. How soon can you have a report?" "If I drop everything else, 48 hours? Do it, and Sarah, this stays between us." By 10 a.m., I'd gathered every relevant document: bank statements, the power of attorney forms, wire transfer receipts. I'd also printed every social media post Michael and Ashley had made since Eleanor got sick. The timeline was damning. New car purchased 3 days after Eleanor entered hospice. Country club membership the week she could no longer speak. House down payment made the day before her funeral. I made one more call before heading to Robert's office. Joe Martinez, my foreman for 15 years. "Joe, I need you to handle operations for the next few days. I've got some personal business." "Of course, boss. Everything okay?" "It will be." The drive to Robert's office gave me time to think. 40 years of building a business. 40 years of Eleanor and I sacrificing, saving, planning for our future and our sons. We'd lived modestly, driven used cars, skipped vacations, all so we could build something lasting, something for Michael. And he'd stolen it while his mother lay dying. Robert's face grew darker with each document he reviewed. "Harold, this is unconscionable. Your own son." "Can I prosecute?" Technically, he had legal authority through the POA. But the timing, the circumstances, this is clear financial elder abuse. We can make a case. He leaned back. "But Harold, do you really want to send your son to prison?" I thought of Eleanor's last words. "Take care of Michael. Keep him close." "I want justice, Robert, whatever form that takes." We spent 3 hours building the strategy. First, revoke the power of attorney immediately. Second, remove Michael from all accounts and company positions. Third, demand full restitution. Fourth, prepare both civil and criminal cases if necessary. "What about the will?" Robert asked. Eleanor and I had always planned to leave everything to Michael. The house, the business, our investments, probably another $2 million after everything was settled. Draw up a new one, he gets nothing. And the beneficiaries? I thought of Eleanor's courage during treatment, her concern for other patients even while suffering. The Cancer Research Center gets half, the other half. I smiled for the first time that day. I'll decide that later. By the time I left Robert's office, the rain had stopped. Weak sunlight broke through the clouds. I drove to the office, my office, built from nothing with Eleanor by my side. Michael's Porsche sat in his designated spot, gleaming and obscene. I walked past my employees, people who'd worked for us for decades, people who'd sent flowers to Eleanor's funeral while my son was shopping for luxury cars with stolen money. Sarah intercepted me at my door. "Mr. Peterson, I've found some irregularities already. Company credit cards. Document everything, Sarah, everything." Inside my office, I sat at the desk where I'd made 1,000 decisions, signed 1,000 contracts, built a life and legacy. The photo of Eleanor and me at Michael's college graduation smiled back at me. We'd been so proud, so hopeful. I called building security. "Tom, I need you to change the access codes tomorrow morning. All of them. And prepare to revoke Michael Peterson's access card on my signal." "Sir, is everything okay? Just be ready." That evening, I did something I hadn't done since Eleanor's death. I cooked dinner, her pot roast recipe, the one she'd taught me during our first year of marriage when we could barely afford the ingredients. The familiar routine of chopping vegetables and seasoning meat calmed my racing mind. At 7:23 p.m., my phone rang. Michael. "Hey, Dad, missed you at the office today. Everything okay?" His voice, casual and concerned. The same voice that had called me Daddy when he was scared of thunderstorms. The same voice that had lied to me for months. "Just tired, son. Handling some of your mother's final paperwork." "Oh," a pause. "Need any help with that?" I almost laughed. "No, I've got it covered. Actually, I'm planning to review the will tomorrow with Robert. Make sure everything's in order." Silence. Then, "The will?" I thought that was all settled. "Just some minor updates. Nothing to worry about. By the way, how's the new house?" "What? Oh, it's great. Yeah, Ashley loves it." "Must have been expensive. In this market?" "We've been saving for years, Dad. You know that." Lies came so easily to him now. "Of course. Well, I should go. See you at the office tomorrow." "Wouldn't miss it." I hung up and checked my laptop. As expected, within minutes I had new logins to the company financial system. Michael, accessing accounts, checking balances, looking for more money to steal. I watched his digital footprints in real time, screen recording everything. Sarah called at 9:45 p.m. "Mr. Peterson, I've found it. Over the past 8 months, Michael has used company cards for personal expenses totaling $127,000. Vacations, jewelry, electronics, all coded as client entertainment or business development. Send me everything, Sarah, and check the vendor payments, any companies you don't recognize." By midnight, the full picture emerged. Not only had Michael stolen from our personal accounts, he'd been embezzling from the company. Fake vendor payments to shell companies, inflated expense reports, project funds diverted to personal accounts. Total damage, over $1.2 million. I sat in Eleanor's favorite chair, the one where she'd spent her last good days reading, and felt a cold fury settle over me. This wasn't just betrayal. It was systematic destruction of everything we'd built, executed while his mother died and his father grieved. I made one last call that night. My nephew David, a cybersecurity expert. "Uncle Harold, it's late, is everything. David, I need your help. Can you recover deleted files from a computer?" "Usually, yes. Whose computer?" "Michael's, and I need you to do it quietly." A long pause. When? Tomorrow night. I'll make sure you have access. The confrontation. Thursday morning dawned clear and cold. I arrived at the office at 6 a.m., 2 hours before Michael usually showed up. Tom from security met me at the entrance. Codes are changed, Mr. Peterson. Just say the word on the access cards. I spent those 2 hours in Michael's office with David's help from the night before. His computer had yielded everything. Emails to Ashley planning the thefts, messages mocking me for being too grief-stricken to notice, spreadsheets calculating how much more they could take before I died. One email, sent the day of Eleanor's funeral, made my hands shake. Just a few more months of playing the grieving son, and we'll have it all. The old man's so broken, he'll probably be gone within a year. Then everything's ours. I printed every email, every message, every spreadsheet. The evidence stack grew 3 inches thick. Then I sat in my office and waited. Michael arrived at 8:17 a.m. whistling. He stopped when he saw me. "Dad, feeling better today?" "Much better. Come in, son. We need to talk." He sat across from me in the same chair where he'd signed his first employment contract 15 years ago. I studied his face, Eleanor's eyes, my stubborn chin. When had he become this stranger? "I've been reviewing our accounts," I began. His smile flickered. "Oh?" I placed the first bank statement on the desk. "Explain this withdrawal." "Dad, you gave me power of attorney to pay for your mother's medical expenses, not to buy a Porsche while she died." The color drained from his face. "I can explain." "No." I spread the other statements across the desk. $847,000, Michael. You stole nearly $1 million while I sat with your dying mother. "It's not stealing. I'm your son. That money would be mine anyway." "Would be. Past tense." I placed the new will on the desk. "You're no longer a beneficiary." He shot to his feet. "You can't do that." "I can, and I have. But that's not all." I added Sarah's report to the pile. $1.2 million embezzled from the company. Did you really think I'd never find out? His face cycled through emotions: anger, fear, desperation. "Dad, please, let me explain. Ashley said..." "Ashley said what? That you should steal from your grieving father? That you should mock me in emails while planning my death?" I placed the printed emails on top of the stack. His face went white as he recognized them. "How did you... Did you really think deleting them was enough? I taught you everything about business, Michael. Did you think I hadn't learned about computers, too?" He sank back into the chair. "What are you going to do?" "What I should do is have you arrested. Financial elder abuse, embezzlement, fraud. Robert says you'd get 5 to 10 years. I let that sink in. But your mother asked me to take care of you. So here's what's going to happen." The terms of justice. I pulled out a contract Robert had drawn up. "You're going to sign this. It acknowledges the debt, $1,247,000 in stolen funds. You'll repay every penny with interest. 20% of your salary will be garnished until it's paid in full." 20%? I can't live on that. "Then I suggest you sell the house, and the Porsche, and Ashley's jewelry. This is insane. I'm your son. Number. My son died with his mother. You're just a thief who shares my DNA." I continued laying out the terms. Immediate termination from the company. Forfeiture of all stock options and bonuses. a permanent ban from any Peterson construction property or contracts. If you violate any term, or if you fail to make a payment, I file criminal charges. You'll lose your contractor's license, your reputation, everything. You're destroying my life. You destroyed mine the day you decided stealing was easier than earning." He grabbed the contract, rage distorting his features. "And if I don't sign? Then you're arrested today. Sarah's already provided the evidence to the district attorney. They're waiting for my call." For 10 minutes he raged, screamed about unfairness, about his rights, about how Eleanor would be ashamed of me. That last one almost broke my resolve. Then I remembered his email about waiting for me to die, and my heart hardened again. Finally, defeated, he signed. "There's one more thing," I said, pulling out my phone. "Ashley needs to see this." I'd had David create a video compilation. Every email, every stolen dollar, every mocking message set to a timeline of Eleanor's final days. The contrast was devastating. While she suffered, they celebrated. While she died, they shopped. While we mourned, they planned. "You're not going to—" "Already sent. To Ashley, her parents, her sisters. Everyone should know who they really are." His phone buzzed, then buzzed again, and again. Ashley calling, her parents, her friends who'd seen the video as it spread through social media. The same platforms they'd used to flaunt their stolen wealth now expose their theft. "Get out," I said quietly. "Security will escort you to clear your office. Your access is revoked as of now." He stood, shaking with rage. "You'll regret this. When you're old and alone, you'll beg me to come back." "I'm already old, and thanks to you, I'm already alone. But I'd rather have no family than a family of thieves." The aftermath. Tom from security appeared at my door, and I nodded. He escorted Michael out as employees watched in shock. Word would spread quickly. It always did. But I'd rather have the truth known than let rumors fester. Within an hour, my phone exploded with calls. Ashley, screaming about divorce and humiliation. Michael's friends, shocked by the revelations. Relatives who'd received the video, offering support or expressing disgust. I turned off my phone and walked through the building Eleanor and I had built together. In the break room, Rosa, who'd worked for us for 20 years, stopped me. "Mr. Peterson, we all loved Mrs. Eleanor. What Michael did." She shook her head. It wasn't right. Throughout the day, employees approached me with similar sentiments. They'd seen Michael's arrogance, his entitlement, his disrespect for everything we'd built. Many had stories of their own. Times he'd taken credit for their work, treated them poorly, acted like the company was his personal piggy bank. By evening, I was exhausted but oddly at peace. I drove home to the empty house, made Eleanor's pot roast again, and sat at our table reviewing the day's events. The doorbell rang at 7:30 p.m. My nephew David stood on the porch with his teenage daughter Emma. "Uncle Harold, Emma has something she wants to tell you." Emma, shy and sweet, Eleanor's favorite grandniece, stepped forward. "I saw things on Instagram, stories Michael and Ashley posted and deleted, about taking your money. I screenshot them all, but I didn't know what to do." She handed me her phone. The screenshots were damning. Ashley literally counting stolen cash, Michael joking about raiding Dad's piggy bank, posts about their plans dated months before Eleanor got sick. They'd been planning this for over a year. "Thank you, Emma. This took courage." She hugged me, tears in her eyes. Aunt Eleanor was always so kind to me. I couldn't let them get away with it. After they left, I made a decision. I called Robert. I want to add a codicil to the will. Emma gets Michael's share, full education funding immediately, and the rest when she turns 25. That's generous, Harold. Eleanor would have wanted it. She always said Emma reminded her of herself at that age, quiet but strong. New beginnings. 3 weeks later, the full consequences of Michael's actions became clear. Ashley filed for divorce, claiming she'd been deceived about their finances. The country club revoked their membership when the dues bounced. The house went into foreclosure. Michael's contractor license was suspended pending investigation. He called me once from a number I didn't recognize. "Dad, please, I'm living in my car. Ashley took everything in the divorce. I can't get work. Everyone knows what I did." "Then get a job outside construction. McDonald's is hiring." This isn't what Mom would have wanted. Your mother wanted many things, Michael. A cure for cancer, more time with her family, a son who loved her more than money. She didn't get any of them. I hung up and blocked the number. But life, as Eleanor always said, goes on. I returned to work with renewed purpose. We established the Eleanor Peterson Memorial Fund, providing free construction training to underprivileged youth. The program launched with $847,000 in funding, the exact amount Michael had stolen. Sarah found more irregularities as her audit continued, but also discovered something beautiful. Employees Michael had fired or driven away wanted to return. Good people who'd left because of his toxicity. I hired them all back with apologies and raises. Joe Martinez, my foreman, took over many of Michael's responsibilities. Unlike my son, Joe had worked his way up from laborer to leader, earning respect through sweat and integrity. The crews responded to him with enthusiasm they'd never shown Michael. "Mr. Peterson," Joe said one afternoon, "the guys want you to know we're sorry about Michael, but we're glad you're back. This feels like the company Mrs. Eleanor loved again." 6 months after that horrible morning with the bank statements, I stood at Eleanor's grave with fresh flowers, her favorite yellow roses. The headstone read, "Beloved wife, mother, and builder of dreams." I'd had mother added out of respect for who she'd been, not who our son became. "I kept my promise, Elle," I whispered. "I took care of myself, and I took care of Michael. Just not how you expected. I think you'd understand. You always saw people clearly, even when I couldn't." A car pulled up as I was leaving. Emma stepped out, holding an acceptance letter. "Uncle Harold, I got into engineering school, full scholarship." I hugged her as Eleanor would have, with joy and pride. "Your aunt would be so proud. We both are." As we drove away together, talking about her future plans, I realized something. Family isn't just blood, it's the people who show up, who demonstrate love through actions, not just words, who build rather than tear down. Michael had stolen money, but he'd given me something valuable in return. Clarity about what truly matters. Eleanor knew it all along. Love isn't about what you can take, it's about what you choose to give. The last I heard, Michael was working at a car wash in another state, still blaming everyone but himself. Ashley had remarried, another older man with money. Some people never learn, but I had learned. In my 69th year, I learned that justice sometimes requires cutting away the rot to save the tree, that honoring someone's memory means protecting what they built. That family is chosen through loyalty, not just born through blood. Eleanor's pot roast recipe still sits in its place of honor in the kitchen. I make it every Sunday now, usually for Emma and David and Joe and his family. We laugh, we plan, we build, just as Eleanor would have wanted. The money Michael stole, it's been repaid through garnished wages and asset seizures. Every penny goes to the memorial fund. We've trained 47 young people so far, kids who might have ended up like Michael without guidance and opportunity. They call me Grandpa Harold now, and I teach them what Eleanor and I learned together, that true wealth is what you build with your own hands and honor with your actions. Sometimes, late at night, I still feel the rage. The betrayal burns like acid when I think of Eleanor's final days tainted by Michael's greed. But then I remember her words, spoken during one of her last lucid moments. "Harold, promise me something else. Don't let bitterness build walls where I built bridges." So I build bridges. To new family, new purpose, new ways of honoring love. And every month, when Michael's garnishment check arrives, I deposit it and think of another young person who'll get a chance Eleanor would have celebrated. Justice served cold, they say, is the sweetest dish. But I've learned something else. Justice served with purpose. That's the meal that truly satisfies. That's the recipe Eleanor would have perfected. And somewhere, I hope, she's smiling. If you enjoyed this story of justice and family truth, please subscribe to our channel. Have you ever discovered a betrayal that changed everything? Share your story in the comments below. And remember, sometimes the family we choose is worth more than the family we're born into. Click here for more stories of strength in the face of betrayal.